Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Yesterday I have discussed about the introduction of the inflammation and repair chapter, and now I will be discussing about the acute inflammation. So acute inflammation is actually the rapid response of the leukocytes against the pathogens, and it involves the plasma proteins. There are the two major components of the acute inflammation, that is the vascular changes and the cellular events. Vascular changes include the vasodilation and increased vascular permeability. Vasodilation occurs so that the blood flow is increased toward the area of the inflammation, and the increased blood flow will lead to the movement of the leukocytes toward the site of the injury. Increased vascular permeability is needed because when there is increased vascular permeability in the capillaries, so there will be the migration of the leukocytes from the blood into the extravascular tissue where the inflammation has occurred. Now, the cellular events involves actually the migration of the leukocytes from the circulation into the extravascular compartment where the pathogens are present. So here we have now discuss about the stimuli of the acute inflammation. So stimuli are same as for the inflammation, that is infection, trauma, tissue necrosis, foreign bodies, and immune reactions. Here we have the main topic, that is the first step of the inflammatory reaction, that is recognition of the microbes, necrotic cells, and foreign bodies. So how the recognition of the microbes occur? Actually, the recognition of microbes occur by the cells that are known as the phagocytes, dendritic cells, and the epithelial cells, and which are involved in the recognition of the microbes. And these cells are having the two types of the receptor, that is the toll-like receptors and the inflammasome. The toll-like receptors are the microbial sensors which are present on the cell membrane, as well as the endosomes, which are also formed during the ingestion of any substance. Toll-like receptors are about 10 in the mammalian, and which recognize the products of the bacteria and the toxins and the viruses and other pathogens. These toll-like receptors recognize the products of the bacteria and then initiate the transcription, which led to the production of the mediators of inflammation, antiviral cytokines, including the interferons, and the proteins that promote the lymphocyte activation. And even more potent immune responses occur due to the toll-like receptors. Then we have the second kind of the receptor, that is the inflammasome. So here this one is a toll-like receptor which is present on the membrane as well as on the endosomal membrane. And here is the inflammasome that is present freely in the cytoplasm and is not associated with the membranes. It is multi-protein cytoplasmic complex, and triggering of the inflammasome related to the activation of the caspase 1. So caspase 1 activated will convert the pro-interleukin 1 or the inactive form of the interleukin 1 into the interleukin 1 beta, that is the active form, and this interleukin 1 beta will causes the acute inflammation. And these inflammasome receptors and interleukin 1 beta are also associated with many diseases such as the gout, obesity associated type 2 diabetes, and atherosclerosis. So we have to block the function of the interleukin 1 in these diseases. Now I have to discuss about the vascular changes in the acute inflammation. So there are main two vascular changes, that is the vasodilation and the increased vascular permeability. Vasodilation occurs as arteriolodilation and the venodilation. So arteriolodilation lead to the increased flow of the blood toward the site of the injury, that will lead to the erythema or the redness, that is a characteristic of the inflammation. And another cardinal sign, that is the warmth, is caused by the increased blood flow. Then is the microvasculature become more permeable, and the protein rich fluid move into the extravascular tissues toward the site of the injury, and this results in the flowing of the leukocytes toward the site of the injury and the phagocytosis. As we know, there is increased blood flow. This increased blood flow will lead to the development of the stasis, and this stasis will causes the leukocyte accumulation in the area of the capillaries, where there is a migration of the leukocytes from the vascular compartment into the extravascular compartment. Now there is the second component, that is the increased vascular permeability. Increased vascular permeability occurs due to the many reasons, such as here the one reason for the increased vascular permeability is the endothelial cell contraction. So endothelial cells when contract, there is the gap between the endothelial cells, and this gap between the endothelial cells will lead to the increased vascular permeability. Endothelial cells contract in response to the histamine, bradykinin, leukotrienes, and many other mediators to the specific receptors. And the long-term contraction of the endothelial cells occurs due to the activation by tumor necrosis factor and interleukin 1. Then another cause of the increased vascular permeability is the endothelial cell injury. So whenever there is an injury to the endothelial cells, this results in the vascular leakage, and this vascular leakage will lead to the increased vascular permeability, and this increased vascular permeability occur in many kinds of the damages, such as when the blood vessels are damaged by the burns or the frostbite or the toxins. So this will result in the endothelial injury. Then is the increased transcytosis. So what it means? It means that the our plasma proteins are passing through the endothelial cells toward the extravascular compartment, and this is mediated by the vascular endothelial growth factor. Number 4 is leakage from the new blood vessels. So sometimes there is the formation of the new blood vessels that is known as the angiogenesis, and angiogenesis, even if when it is not complete, so then before it is complete, it is actually the vessels are leaky. So the vessels are leaky, so that will lead to the increased vascular permeability. So here is the summary of the events of the vasodilation and increased vascular permeability. Here the vasodilation induced by the chemical mediators such as histamine, and is the cause of the erythema and the stresses of the blood flow. And here another component, that is the increased vascular permeability, is caused by the histamine, bradykinins and other mediators, and that will increase the passage of the fluid through the endothelium, and this increased permeability allows the leukocytes to invade the area of the injury, that will lead to the phagocytosis. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, then press the like button, and if you want to see more videos like it, then subscribe to my channel, and I will post new video every day.